If you were to get into a car accident tomorrow and you're just going on a picnic, you are not covered and it's not going to pay out. The SGLI is not going to pay out to your beneficiaries. So that's a common misconception that people don't understand. If you opt in, you're good. If you opt out, you have to go and get a commercial policy from a broker or some company that you find out there. So today we're going to talk about the SGLI. There's two types. You have the full-time SGLIs for active duty people, active duty personnel that are in an active status, and you have part-time SGLI for reservists. Coverage details for your SGLI. So while you're in the military or while you're a reservist and you're activated, you're covered up to $500,000. So that $500,000, we call it a death benefit. And if you were to die while on the line of duty, you die driving to work, or just driving on vacation while on leave, if you're in an active duty status, your beneficiaries will get paid $500,000, up to $500,000. It depends on what you elected to provide to them. So SGLI for active duty, you receive it automatically after boot camp, unless you decline it. You don't have to get it, but I haven't met anybody who has not gotten it. It's a pretty good deal. It's really simple. You don't need to prove your insurability, meaning you don't have to prove that you're in good health. That's already covered by military boot camp intake. If you don't qualify to be in the military, then you disqualify yourself from the SGLI. So for $500,000 to get paid to your beneficiaries, that's about $30 per month that you're paying in premiums, and that's already like automatically paid, like pulled from your paycheck, so you can find it on your LES. $1 a month is added for traumatic protection coverage, TSGLI. So if you were to get into a motor accident and you face some traumatic injury, you're covered up to $100,000. So that's if you survive, right? Traumatic protection protects you if you get hurt, and it'll pay for those bills. Death benefit will pay your beneficiaries, whoever you name as your beneficiaries, if you were to die. Getting out of the military or getting out of federal service, 120 days of free coverage after separation from the military, and that crosses over into reserve time if it's done directly after active duty. So you have 120 days after you get out of active duty to have full-time coverage, right? If you're 100% disabled, you get 2 years of extension of SGLI. So basically, you have free coverage for 120 days afterwards. In the VA's eyes, you have 100% disability and you're collecting disability paychecks tax-free, then you will get free SGLI coverage. SGLI for reservists. So this is where it gets a little weird, and a lot of people don't understand the difference in the coverage. So when you have full-time SGLI, it doesn't matter if you're on leave or if you're sleeping, if you die, and you're not actively working, your beneficiaries still get that up to $500,000, right? So for reservists, it's a little funky. If you're in an inactive status, but you're drilling for less than 31 days in a year, you have part-time. So part-time SGLI, it's covered only when you're at drill, at training. If you have orders for training, especially if you're an officer, reserve officers during your annual training with orders of more than 13 days, traveling to and from training. So if it's activities that have orders attached to it, then you're covered. If you were to get into a car accident tomorrow and you're just going on a picnic and you're not on an active duty status, it's not an active day for you, you are not covered. The SGLI is not going to pay out to your beneficiaries. So that's a common misconception that people don't understand. So if you have SGLI as a reservist and you're inactive, if you die while in an inactive status, then you will not, your family or your beneficiaries will not get that $500,000 or whatever you decide to enroll in. But like I said before, talking in circles, if you are at drill or you're going to or from drill, you're covered. Your family is going to be covered. You're going to get that money and you'll be fine. Let's talk about FSGLI. So your spouse is covered up to $100,000, right? So if your spouse dies, you get $100,000 for them. You have to have SGLI. If you don't have SGLI, then they won't have the ability to get that FSGLI. If my wife is in the military and I'm in the military, we both have SGLI, right? How does that work? If I have $500,000, she can have up to $500,000 of coverage because she is a service member too, right? She's not a civilian married to a military person who has SGLI. She can get the FSGLI up to $500,000, which it kind of covers SGLI and FSGLI. So spouses are now not automatically enrolled. You must request it. Dependent children are automatically covered for that $10,000. Termination of coverage for the FSGLI is if the marriage ends in a divorce, so the spouse will not be covered, or the sponsor, a service member, so you, would die, or if you decline coverage. So basically, it all hinges on you. If you have SGLI, it will determine if your family members can have FSGLI or not. Basically, if you opt in, you're good. If you opt out, you have to go and get a commercial policy from a broker or some company that you find out there. That's SGLI in a nutshell. That's going to be the end of my first video. In the next video, I'll be covering VGLI, how to opt in for VGLI, some pros and cons of it. A lot of people, when they get out of the military, you kind of just opt into it without weighing the risk and financial burden that can come with it. Because there's a lot of things that go into VGLI. It's good, but it's also bad. It really determines on how you feel about how much you should be spending and if it's good enough coverage for you. Because when you get out, there are other options that people don't look into. But that's why we're here to talk about it. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.